Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about the Molex MIZU P25 connectors and plugs that Holley Sniper use for their 3.5 inch display and CAN communications. They're tricky little buggers to use, and the one I'm illustrating here is what you don't do. Don't think that you can pull the black retainer off from behind the silicon water seal after you've put the wires and plugs into the unit. It's a trap. They come pre-assembled with that retaining clip set and captured on a small catch on the assemblies, ready for you to I'll call it simple, to push your crimped lug through the silicon seal and latch into the body in the correct orientation, and then you press the capture, the final capture, which gives final compression for the sealing on the plug and the socket. So you don't disassemble them, otherwise you will find expletives in your vocabulary that you never knew you had. They are just such a difficult thing. And then, of course, once you've done all that, you go to then more thoroughly read the instructions of these things. And what is critical to the assembly is that the guidance they give you for the orientation, note the cable restraint onto the insulator, the orientation, and then the notch on this particular pin or socket, whatever it is, as it will latch in correctly. If you try and put these together with them upside down into the plug assemblies, you'll wrestle and fight, and they just won't go. And the light bulb moment is to realise you're putting them in upside down. Okay, so this guidance is very accurately true and precious in the proper assembly of these things. So noting the orientation of your pin and socket, or such that they are into each element of this. The tooling that I found that was most useful was that I found this Engineer brand, and this particular model is one that I only found that tabled the correct tool for using with these pins for these plugs, and they mention these specific ones. And the good part about this tool is the main jaw body is over 3mm, but then it is narrowed to suit the smaller crimp area on these particular units. I've highlighted with a bit of nail polish the jaws that I use for the wire crimp is identified in green, and then the next size up I used to crimp the insulation cable restraint feature on them. So they're tricky, little buggers to handle, but you can do it, and it's worth getting right. But this tool, I've got no allegiance to them, but they work. Let's see if I can crimp one sensibly in the video for you. Okay, so I trickily if I get the focal distance of this right. Hold them as such, and then I present the pliers oops, that's if I do it up the other way. If I present the mandrel of the pliers to there and capture. I've got the wire positioned already, and then I can crimp it. And I think that looks pretty good. I just pinch the insulation restraint together so that they enter into the jaws of the next size up, and then I'll pinch that one, and then that looks pretty good. Nicely constrained on the insulation and nicely crimped. If I can get focus looking right, so that looks pretty good. And then for assembly, I'm assembling this component here. Now I won't actually put this one in, but if they go in correctly, whichever way up it is, so they go in that orientation, so they present in, and they'll just push into the silicon seal, and they'll go forward, and you can actually see down into the unit to see the pin is square in its slot. And will push through until it clicks. The inclination suggestion on here does aid and avoid some of the features inside the plastic moulded plug to let the crimped terminal go in quite nicely. And you can do it, and they work quite nicely. The retainer that is on the end, I usually push that together on the jaws of my vise by a cable underneath and push down on it, and that will latch. And if it latches just one side of the catch and not the other side, which does happen, I then simply, with the jaws of a pair of multi-grips, open fairly wide so that the tip of the jaw bears down. It can bear down on just the edge of that retainer to just catch it and seat the second side. So they'll go in a bit skew with, and then you can pull the second side down quite nicely. So you can do it, and I couldn't find a video on the web that described this in any way, and hopefully this is appreciated by some.